When we kind of joined at around 6K monthly recurring revenue, now we are at about 19,000 a month. We signed the clients that we wanted to sign.
We're back with another student spotlight interview, and I'm here with my friend Victor. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, what's on, Andre? How you doing?
Not too bad, bro. It's always fun to do these interviews because it's a nice opportunity for me, at least, to catch up with students that are putting in a lot of work. For the audience, if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and the business you're currently working on.
So I'm Victor. I run an e-commerce, email marketing, and SMS marketing as well kind of agency, and I'm running that with my co-founder as well. So we're two in the business right now. We're both 25 lifelong friends. It's pretty cool what we're doing right now and what we've accomplished in Client Ascension, I'd say, just in terms of a rough outline of our story. So we got into internet money through dropshipping. So that's kind of how we started out. Kind of had a store there, or we had a few stores there, did a few 100,000 there before we kind of got hit by the ban hammer, Facebook ban hammer, kind of switch over to, I guess, more reliant income.
Now it's still with the partner you're working with now that you did drop shipping with?
Yeah, it's kind of real back before that. What we were doing was kind of just look at options to not work a 9 to 5, you know? So yeah, we kind of had those dropshipping stores, did a few 100,000, and then we banned from Facebook. Then we looked into more reliable income, kind of saw like Facebook ads was popping at the time, 2020, basically. We settled on email marketing. My partner there, he's a very good designer. I'm more so a writer by nature. It just made sense to write some nice emails and then get them designed.
So you're both 25, you both live in the same apartment, you've been working together for a little while. What's that like, living in the same apartment? It probably is a lot easier for you guys.
We wanted to try it. Pretty quickly realized that deep work kind of just a space to be on your own when you're in the deep work. It's nice to be kind of close. We don't really need to use Slack. We will have to at some point when we kind of expand the business.
How did you guys hear about Client Ascension? It sounds like you were doing drop shipping. It was working up to the point of Facebook banning you, and then you kind of went into email marketing, which is a super competitive agency service. When did Client Ascension come to the fore?
Always kind of been active on Twitter, and then through drop shipping, I was obviously seeing what people were doing there on Twitter, and that's kind of how I found like, yeah, Daniel, Cold Email Wizard, kind of one of the first ones when we started pursuing like the agency game. The first kind of thing I ever really bought course-wise was his Cold Email Mastery, the original one.
Yeah, I remember in that course, it was a lot about Klaviyo email marketing. Is that also how you heard about email marketing as a service, or did you guys have something before that?
It was definitely before that, because I think his angles and examples were kind of leading towards that email marketing service.
Yeah,
that's
Klaviyo.
Probably why we got sold, yeah.
Okay, so what was the transition from Cold Email Mastery, which is like a lower ticket info product, to being like, okay, we need Client Ascension, which is a high ticket coaching program?
We've always kind of been the types that weren't really scared to spend any money. So we kind of knew like at some point we'll have to grade our skills with some kind of course. Obviously we can do it ourselves through free content, all of the stuff you guys put on Twitter and stuff. Also people just gatekeep, obviously. We needed to kind of upgrade with something like Client Ascension, and we half a year, basically whenever you launched Client Ascension, we knew that's kind of where we want to go. We just need to kind of get our revenue up to par with that, yeah.
Where were you guys at revenue-wise before you joined? What was the benchmark of like, we have to get up to this level before we join Client Ascension?
I don't think we set a benchmark, just getting comfortable with kind of like, yeah, paying rent and stuff on the side for a few months. We joined around 6K, I think 6K monthly recurring.
6K a month. Awesome, bro. Makes sense. The decision to join was just like, okay, this Cold Email Mastery stuff worked. The Twitter content's really good. There's got to be even more information that we're probably not seeing that'll help us to grow. Why was right at that time when you decided to join the right time to join?
We saw like all of the social proof you guys posted on Twitter was actually working on us. We also saw like other email marketing guys actually signing clients, from Christian Scripps, his help, and your interview with a guy called Max as well. We just kind of put all the pieces together. Like we saw a lot of people learn a lot about operations, a lot of people learn a lot about cold email, signing clients, and sales as well. So we just knew it had the whole package, and it meant for us that we didn't need to kind of buy some other cold email or acquisition course and then have to go pay for something else for like operations. It was just all we needed. We're pretty good at knowing who to trust. We knew a lot about you, Daniel, and Christian, and Dan as well.
Especially in the email marketing space, right? Like email marketing is one of those agency services that's like super dried up and it's super competitive. So I feel like Client Ascension specifically is a competitive advantage for you guys. Like against other email marketing agencies, it's like you're in Client Ascension, the other guys aren't. You're going to have a better chance of signing clients, knowing how to fulfill, knowing how to show up to the sales calls. Have you felt that's the case?
100%. So before we joined, I was kind of thinking like all of these scripts I've already see like floating around on Twitter and stuff like that. How can it get any better than this? Like what else can you really do? Then when we joined kind of Client Ascension, so much stuff that's not being unpacked outside, all in Client Ascension basically get access to. So pretty much an eye-opener for us in terms of like just business in general, like how much you need to do and how much you can do, which you don't really realize unless you have someone holding your hand, basically.
That's my favorite part about Client Ascension is like, of course, we teach cold email and lead gen, and that's kind of what we're known for. But there's like 16 weekly live calls on all different topics like personal branding, LinkedIn growth, Twitter growth, content creation, landing pages, VSLs, sales. It really encompasses everything you have to know to be successful in business, not just how to generate leads and then you figure it out on your own after. I would also ask, like, what were some of the big problems that you were facing in your business when you first joined Client Ascension?
Yeah, so definitely one of them being to sign more clients. Also just like what to say on sales calls that kind of position us as kind of someone that knows what they're doing. But apart from that, operations, like how to give clients a great feeling or first impression when we kind of onboard them. That's one thing we really struggled with. Client communication, I think. So we're naturally good at, like, I guess, talking to clients, like knowing when to say something, but we didn't really know like what to say. And we've gotten a ton of help with that on the coaching calls where we just went on and asked.
Yeah, that's every business, right? Like, you're going to wake up the next day and you're going to do a lot of the same things as you've done before, know how to do, but there's also going to be a lot of new things that you have to do. So I feel like Client Ascension is just like corner you can go to ask questions and get help in real time, which gives it a lot of value. Who else has that sort of access to network of experts? Maybe talk a little bit about the community as well. Like, have you been able to connect with some of the students, get value from them, maybe even sign some clients?
Mainly, we've just been talking to students. We've also been on calls, actually, just kind of both other email marketing guys, just to see what they're doing, if we can kind of learn from each other. A few guys that we're looking to kind of form partnerships, like, we have some clients that need this, can you help us? And maybe we can help them in the same way back. So yeah, we've learned a ton of people to get to know a lot of people who's also on Twitter, to be fair, but we've just never seen them. But yeah, we get to see them inside Client Ascension.
And who do you think they're going to trust more? Someone on Twitter or someone that's in Client Ascension as well? It's like, exactly. So the level of respect when you form those, I call them alliances. Like, I think the more alliances you form as a business owner, especially ones that are complementary, where you're providing email marketing, you might want to go and form an alliance with an ad agency because it goes hand in hand and you guys can help each other's clients and make even more money together. That's where a lot of the money is made. And you even mentioned going and speaking to some of your competitors that are also in Client Ascension. And that's what I love about the program is it's not like there's any information or secret societies that are gatekeep. Like, everyone is there to grow and help each other. There's enough opportunity to go around for everyone. And I think people in Client Ascension really understand that. And that's why they're always so willing to help each other. So we have the coaches, we have the content, but really the students in there as well. Like, these are students like yourself, Victor, that are investing multiple 5 figures to join a program like Client Ascension. They're probably just as qualified as a lot of the coaches to help in different areas of business. So
one thing to add to that, it's a super small thing, but just the good morning messages inside Client Ascension. 20, 30 people that you see every morning and you know they're kind of on the same path as you, like they're all trying to kill it today and build something great. And just that alone is like a huge motivation that we otherwise wouldn't get.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, it's telling you like you're not the only one going through this journey. And I think that's the thing with business is it's a really lonely path for a lot of people because you're not working in like this huge corporate setting and typically in an office and surrounded by people. For you, it's a little bit easier than for most people because you have a partner that you live with and that you've been close with. Some people go at it completely alone and that can be scary and lonely at times. So to have a community like Client Ascension where every day you wake up and you see 20 or 30 other dudes that you saw yesterday and the 10 days before and the 300 days before, all waking up at the same time early and just getting after it. And then you see them posting in the Wins channel after they're putting in work for a long period of time. So it is really cool to see. I want to touch briefly on Chris as well. He's your dedicated student success coach, which is a concept we introduced just this year, which we were really excited about. So how has that experience been working with Chris, your student success coach?
He's super nice and he's on it, man. Like every week he kind of tags everyone on his team, like his part of Client Ascension, asking them for kind of like weekly action items. And he's going to keep you accountable on those. And he did that for us as well, which is super nice. Obviously that you can do that yourself, but just having someone else kind of do it for you, you have someone else you kind of disappoint if you don't really smash those goals.
Yeah.
And apart from that, so we're doing like a lot of Twitter content, obviously, mainly all of the guys inside Client Ascension and girls, where he's also kind of keeping track of who's posting, who's not posting. And then we're kind of in a fun way, publicly shaming the ones that are not posting, because obviously it's in their best interest and they set themselves, they wanted to post and be a part of it. So it's just a lot of accountability and Chris is like a G at actually keeping us accountable. So growth is inevitable, I'd say, when you have Chris on your team. Yeah.
Really the biggest thing is he's keeping you accountable to doing all the things that we know if you do will work, right? Like that's the whole thing with Client Ascension is you go into the program and you see 300 plus training videos, 17 weekly coaching calls, a bunch of Slack channels. It's super intimidating and overwhelming at first, but Chris can tell you like, do this week and then do this next week and then do this and then do this. And it's because you've seen other students implement all the different things going on in the program and he's seen what actually gets results and when's the best time to implement them. relationships. The best is, like you said, like if you're not going to follow through on your commitments and do something that you told Chris you're going to do, like you bet your ass, like you're going to get a message from him that same week or just in a couple of days saying, yo, where is this thing? Why didn't you do it yet? And like you said, you don't want to let someone else outside of just yourself down. So it's a great motivator.
100%.
So since joining Client Ascension, like what have been some of your big wins, would you say? And also for the audience, like when did you join the program? How long have you been in there for?
Yeah, I think the exact date actually, because I remember, was the 3rd of April. And so it's been about 5 months now, I'd say. I guess I can go over the kind of overall journey. So when we kind of joined, we were at around 6K monthly recurring revenue. Now we are at about 19,000 a month. Or this month we were at 18,000, but a client just paid a bit late. So we would have been at 19,000. He's already paid, but yeah, we're all good. Obviously the biggest win of all, going from 6K to 19K. I would like to say that it's been like linear growth. I mean, it has been looking at it, but it's not been like step by step. It's kind of been, I think Cold Email Wizard says, Daniel says, nothing happens for so long and then everything happens at once. Something like that. Pretty much what we experienced. I think it's 2 months ago. All of the follow-ups we did, which we wouldn't have done if we didn't learn it through Client Ascension. All of those, they just came through and we signed the clients that we wanted to sign.
That's how it works, bro. It's like the inputs or the things that you do today, you're not going to see an immediate return from. Like it might take 90 days or 180 days or 5 months in your situation. And that's where people really get caught up, is they do something and then they don't see a direct outcome or a result and they get discouraged. Like, oh, it's not working. It's like, you didn't give it enough time. And so that's the thing people struggle with the most, is like, they'll try something and then they'll give up before they even give it a chance to succeed. I love that you shared that. And it's not abnormal at all either. Like you're not going to see like an agency, especially one that's just starting, like just go like this. It's typically going to go like this and then have like a spike up. They call it hockey stick growth. Most people, again, they quit somewhere along this path and they never give it a chance to hit that hockey stick growth. So, I mean, congrats to you and to your business partner for sticking it out and staying consistent with the inputs and waiting around long enough to see the rewards from those.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite questions to ask is, a lot of people will go through programs like Client Ascension. They're not going to see results like you're seeing, going from 6K to 19K in 5 months. So for students watching this that are going through Client Ascension or even another coaching program and they're not seeing the results that they want, what's one piece of feedback you'd give them that if you do these things, you're more likely to see the results, whether it's join the coaching programs, go through the content, post on social media?
I'd say the first one, something you would probably hear a lot inside Client Ascension, is never turn off your outreach, no matter what happens. Second one would probably be to actually use the fact that you can DM all of the coaches and they'll probably answer. Like, never seen them not answer. Yeah, like there's Connor in there. He does email marketing as well. He's a sales coach, but obviously he helps out people on that side as well, even though he doesn't have to. All of the guys in there. So much you can do. If you're worried about like operations, you need systems built, like you can reach out to Andre or Tony and they'll actually tell you what to do, or you can just hop on their calls. I think with the coaching calls, like I've spoken to people and I also felt this myself when we kind of joined, like you don't have to be on the entire call. You can just hop on, ask questions, then you can hop off again and kind of work on those questions. You don't have to actually set off 3 hours for 3 calls. Yeah, just actually use the tools you have inside Client Ascension. It's what you paid for. Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's so hard for so many people as they join a program. And I think, again, a lot of it's they get intimidated and they don't really know where to start. And a lot of these issues that I'm mentioning, we've solved through like student success coaches, because they're really directing you on, go to this call and watch this recording and reach out to this coach. So then it's just on you to actually execute on that and do it every single day and just trust that the results will be there when they're going to be there. It's not always right away. It's not always within a month or 3 months or 6 months. So just for anyone in the agency space, I think the first piece of advice you had there of like never turning off your outreach is so important. There's a video in Client Ascension that I recorded about a concept called sales velocity. And it's the number one reason why agencies grow and then eventually die off, because they don't understand this concept of sales velocity, which a lot of it has to do with just keeping your outreach on at all times. But what's one piece of advice you'd have for anyone in the agency space that's not in Client Ascension, other than to join Client Ascension, because that's obviously the number one piece of advice? What would you say to these guys?
The number 2 piece of advice, kind of a universal thing, but especially in the agency space, you don't get that daily dopamine that you otherwise would get from something like, let's say, dropshipping, where you get sales recurringly. Like the time is going to pass anyway. That's probably the piece of advice. Do the work you should be doing today. In a month, you're going to be in the next month anyway. So looking back, you would have wanted to actually do those things that, brought you forward business-wise, whether that's, the outreach, even if it's manual, automatic, writing up a new landing page, anything like that. So the time is going to pass anyway.
I love that, bro. That might be my favorite answer to that question ever. That's something that I'm even just going to think on after this call. It's like, dude, there's all these things sitting in front of us that we have to do. And if we do them in 1 month, we're going to be really happy. If not, the month is still going to come and we're not going to be happy. So the time is passing anyways, whether you're doing the things you're supposed supposed to be doing or not. Your future self would be really happy if you were to do the things you know you're supposed to be doing. This is a great piece of advice, Victor. So where can our audience find you, follow you, and work with you?
Mainly Twitter. That's where I am, apart from Client Ascension kind of Slack channel at ecomvictor. That's mainly where you can find me at.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. You're crushing it, bro. It's really cool to see. 5 months into the program, I can't wait to see what another 5 months brings for you and your business partner.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Andre.